Hello, gentlemen. It is time for the Week 8 League 8 recap. Coming at you a little bit earlier this week. Um, as you can probably tell, I have a little bit of a lisp going on right now. I have some really bad oral herpes that were kicking my ass and pissing me off this morning. And on top of that, I had just about 3 or 4 hours worth of work completely crash on me and have to start over from scratch. There's the damn oral herpes getting in the way. Herpes always gets in the way. So I decided I need to take an early lunch today. And what better way to cheer me up than talking to you assholes? Anyways, week 8 recap. We're getting down there. It's getting close. We're 2/3 of the way done with the regular season. I think we kind of have an idea of at least a couple teams that are going to make playoffs. I think we have an idea of a couple teams who are not going to make playoffs, and there's a handful of us that who knows what's going to happen. So let's dive right into it. First matchup of the week, we have Corey and Perk. Sorry about that. Corey and Perk. Corey is the first team out of playoffs as if it started today, which it doesn't. He is in 7th place. So also something to keep in mind about 7th place. Jesus Christ. Something to keep in mind about 7th place. There we go. Is that their losses determine the magic number. So Corey is 4-4. So actually, I think last week the person who was in 7th had 4 losses also. So everybody's magic number should not have moved by more than 1, I believe. Anyways, done with that caveat. Perk and Corey. Like I said, Corey is in 7th. As you can probably figure out, Corey lost this week. He is 4-4. He lost to Perk, who is 7-1 and in first place. 174 to 108. So it's kind of an ass whooping. I would assume it was the biggest margin victory this week. Let's see what we have here. Perk had a pretty good week out of just about everybody. He had Aaron Jones, 41 points. Let's put it this way. Everybody on his team scored at least 11 points. Not too bad. And his bench he sat the right guys. So good on you, Perk. I believe you had the highest score of the week. Congrats. It doesn't win you anything, but hey, pat on the back. Corey, on the other hand, started something called Brandon Cooks, who got 0 points. Awful management decision to start a guy who's not going to catch a ball. DeAndre Hopkins did good for him. Fucking New England defense. God damn it. I wish I could go back to that video and delete that comment, but I can't. So weird. When your defense is your number 1 point getter, you are going to suck. Perk, in first place, his magic number is 2. Corey, in 7th place, his magic number is 5. And I did do a little bit more research this week. Not much, but a little bit more. And I did happen to notice something. The gentlemen who are in first and second in our league also have the fewest points scored against. So it's something to keep in mind. First and person who is in second, which I will reveal later. You might be scoring a lot of points, but you're also not getting a lot of points scored against you. So just temper your expectations is what I would say to those gentlemen. Anyways, Perk's still in first. Corey's still out of the playoffs. Next matchup, we have Matt and Dennis. And Dennis, I tried figuring out this morning to see like how we're doing the magic number to show you, if you make the playoffs. I was also trying to figure out how to do a magic number to show when you're officially eliminated from the playoffs. And I looked at it for about a minute and I got frustrated because I didn't want to do all that math at 7:30 in the morning, so I gave up. But all that having been said, I think we can say Dennis is probably eliminated from playoffs. He got the weekly low score for the 3rd time this year. That's 3 times out of 8. That's almost 50%. It's slightly lower than 50%. I can't quite do that math as I'm talking. But 105 points. Not good, Dennis. I know you're pretty much done for the year, and I get that, and that's fine. You got a new kid, so what? Who cares? The point is, scoring these kind of points, you got to score more. You got to score more. And I'm not talking about with the wife. I'm talking about with your fantasy team. You obviously score enough with your wife. You have 3 kids. Dennis loses to... Sorry, tweet. Dennis loses to Matt, who is in 6th place. Last team in the playoffs, if they started today, he is also 4-4. I think we have a handful of 4-4 teams. Matt, let's see how Matt's team did. He had Kenny Golladay, 28 points. Honestly, in this whole entire matchup, Kenny Golladay is the only person who scored more than 20 points. So, not great efforts by either team. And just, I mean, a win is a win, but Matt did only win by 8. So, he did only beat the weekly low score by 8 points. But hey, a win is a win. Matt has a magic number of 5. Dennis has a magic number of 8. Good luck. Next matchup. Oh, weird. Another 4-4 team. Nate and Don. Nate beats Don by about 13 points, 139 to 126. Nate 4-4 and in 4th place. So if that tells you anything, Nate 4-4 and in 4th place. Corey is 4-4 and in 7th place. So points are the only thing dividing those 4 people. So it's close, even though there's a wide range of rankings there. Things can happen dramatically in the next couple weeks. Nate had a solid week out of his Aaron Rodgers, 27, Julian Edelman, 28, Dalvin Cook, 28. Yeah, not bad weeks. Don managed to lose kind of like I did last week. He had a wide receiver put up over 40 points and he still lost. I did that last week. I get it. I understand. But unlike me, Don has 1 win this year. Barely beating Father, but, kind of like when, I say, well, Father got the weekly low score, so his opponent didn't win, he just didn't lose. Well, the reason Don's not in 10th place is because the guy below him has 3 weekly low scores. So, do the math. Anyways, Don 1-7 and in 9th. Nate 4-4 and in 4th. Oh, nice. Sorry, I'm getting notifications that I'm 8-0 in my family league. Go me. Magic number for Nate 5. Magic number for Don 8. And now we have a pretty good matchup. Not quite the matchup of the week, but it made the matchup next to the matchup of the week, which I guess is something. Nick versus Brandon, and Nick finally lost. Who knew? I guess it's possible, but not for a lack of trying. Nick had 152 points. Brandon had 173. So awesome weeks out of both teams. Can't complain about that kind of a matchup. They're both sitting at 6-2. Brandon is in 2nd. Nick is in 3rd. And going back to the point I made about 5 minutes ago, Brandon is the other team that is in the top 2. And like I said, the people in the top 2 spots have the 2 lowest points scored against. So Brandon, congrats that you're in 2nd. That's awesome. Good for you. Pat on the back. Whatever else I need to say to make you feel good. But no one's scoring points against you. So, you're kind of like New England. Once you face a legit team, then we'll see. Or the Gophers. Except you're not undefeated. Is New England undefeated? I honestly don't know that. Whatever. Let's dive into the matchup. Nick had Cooper Kupp, 35 points. Michael Thomas, 27 points. He sat David Montgomery, and he had 25 points. So that would have helped, especially. Oh, actually, that would have. That might have won him the week. I think it would have, because he started something called, is it Chase Edmonds? Wait, whoa. You started Chase Edmonds over David Montgomery. Like, I guess on paper, it is a little bit of a toss-up, but I feel like I would have gone with David Montgomery. But that's just my elite managing skills. I know not everybody has the sheets that I have. So yeah, a potential loss there for Nick based on his managing skills, not necessarily on the output of his team. Brandon had Drew Brees, 25 points. James Conner, 24 points. Buddy's hurt now. Latavius Murray, 36 points. Again, I think, what did he pick him up last week? I think Stefania told him to pick him up, or pick Latavius up. I wasn't there for that conversation, unfortunately. But yeah, both teams, like I said, 6-2, and in 2nd and 3rd place. Both teams obviously have the same magic number, and that magic number is 3. And the matchup of the week, Mitch and myself. Oh, cool. That's pretty cool. I won. Holy shit. Who would have guessed? Thank you, Juju Smith-Schuster. 146 to 136. It came down to Juju last night. I was down by, I think, 12. He had a handful of catches and then caught that awesome touchdown. As soon as that happened, I turned it off and went to bed. Yeah, go me. Sorry, Mitch. I had Matt Stafford, 24 points. Juju Smith-Schuster, 21 points. Leonard Fournette, 21 points. My defense, San Francisco, 20 points. I had all but one player score double-digit points, so that's pretty good. Looks like I said all the right players and started all the right ones. Obviously, I won. Let's go on to Mitch. Mitch had Deshaun Watson, 27 points. Christian McCaffrey, 28 points. Tevin Coleman, that fucker was making me sweat the whole week. Or whenever he was. When did he play? Wednesday, whatever. 38 points. And of course, I was cheering for Tevin Coleman because I have him in like 2 other leagues, which, sorry, I'm not trying to pull a Nate and tell you about my other leagues. Sorry, I'll stop. So it looks like Mitch could have started a couple other guys. He started Le'Veon Bell, Zach Ertz, and his kicker got him a combined 14 points. So, yeah, I think if you would have subbed out, Devin Singletary or any of those Duke Johnson, sorry. Any of those guys, you probably would have won. But you didn't, so sucks to be you. I'm in 8th place, but it is kind of a deceptive 8th place because I'm 3-5 behind the 4 teams that are 4-4. And I believe I think I have as many points as they do. Or like if I was tied with them, I'd be right in the middle, I think. In Mitch, weird, 4-4. He is in 5th. My magic number is 6. His magic number is 5. Yeah, like I said, I think, next week we have the potential for some people to start locking up spots. I think Perk, like I said, his magic number was 2. So, depending on who ends up in 7th place, if Perk wins this week and whoever's in 7th ends up with 5 losses, he will be in. So, hopefully for him, that happens. Hopefully for everybody else, that doesn't happen. Nothing else really to report on. It's cold out here. I'm sitting in my truck, tired. Well, I'm not really tired. I got a good night's sleep. That's all I got. So keep chugging away. Dennis and Don, thanks for the donation this year. And we'll see you next Tuesday.